tornare alla Radio Rai.
Sì, buongiorno. Io mi incuriosiva sapere se lei rivede i suoi film e se si diverte a vederli con i suoi figli, in famiglia, e quale delle sue numerosissime performance esilaranti ama di più. Qual è il film, poi, la commedia del cinema in assoluto che di più le è rimasta nel cuore? E ancora una piccola domanda che riguarda, c'è un pizzico di Mr. Bean o di Johnny English nell'originale Rowan Atkinson nella vita di tutti i giorni? Grazie.
Okay, yes, I've just got to try to remember the questions now in order. Firstly, in terms of watching films that I've made, no, I don't watch films that I've made, but the point is, of course, that when I am making movies, I'm involved with every part of the process, so I'm sitting throughout the editing process of the movie, for example, which takes 5 or 6 months, so I see the film hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. So I watch myself then, and I watch it with ease and with relaxation, actually, but I'm quite happy to watch myself because I totally divorce myself from the character on the screen. People are always surprised, the directors, when I'm editing with them, that I always refer to myself in the third person. You know, that I say, you know, is there a moment when he goes through the door later than in the Cabinet of God at the moment, rather than when I go through the door later. I never refer to myself in the first person, it's always the third person. And and I don't have to do that deliberately, that is just, you know, naturally how I see myself. It's not me up there, it's a character. And that is how I, you know, view the editing process. Once the film is made, I go to endless premieres, so I see the film a lot then, but I would never sit down voluntarily myself to watch a film. And certainly if it comes on, if I'm at a friend's house and a film of mine is suddenly on TV, I will leave the room rather than enter the room. There's no doubt about that. And you know, when I talk now, comparisons are quite often being drawn to the first movie, and I have to confess I haven't seen the first movie for 6 years or something. I can't remember the last time I saw it. You know, and I'm trying to compare it to how I remember the film rather than maybe how the film actually is. What was the...
La commedia che considera the best comedy you...
Oh, right. Oh, well, this is very difficult. You know, an inspiration for me was always, you know, Monsieur Hulot's Holiday, Les Vacances de Monsieur Hulot, the Jacques Tati movie. That, I think, is a definitive movie in my life. There was a movie I saw only a few weeks ago that I hadn't seen for years, which I'd forgotten how good it was, so I'll mention it now, which was a Michael Caine and Steve Martin movie called Dirty Rotten Scandals. I don't know if it was released here or what it was called.
Era due figli di qualcosa del genere.
It was about two con men on the Côte d'Azur. And God, that's got some funny. It's not a consistently funny movie, but there are two scenes with Steve Martin in. One when he's trying to remember somebody's name that he's forgotten when he's in jail. If he remembers the name, it'll help him to get out of jail. But he can't remember the name, and it's a terribly funny. There's just lots of funny stuff in it. But yeah, so there are two that you know that spring from the top of my head. Yeah.
L'ultima domanda era se c'è qualche cosa dei suoi personaggi in lei.
There's bound to be some. I mean, Mr. Bean, I sometimes think, is a little bit like I was when I was 10. When I was 10 years old, you know, the joke of Mr. Bean is that he's an adult, is that he's a child trapped in an adult's body. So, yeah, me as a child, you know, there could be a little bit of him in me. I hope there's very little of him as an adult, because I mean, Mr. Bean is a, you know, I maintain quite an unpleasant character, really selfish child. Johnny English, I don't know. I hope I've got his good bits and none of his bad bits. That, I suppose, is probably the best way to summarize. You know, but I don't think actually I'm as brave as he is, and I don't think I'm as self-deluded as he is. So maybe I fail on both fronts, but there's a strange parallel, I think, between Johnny English's ambition to be a spy and Rowan Atkinson's ambition to play a spy. You know, there's a sort of, you know, both of us You know, I could never be a spy, really, but I can act. I can act the part, but I could not be, and I feel as though there's a slight parallel with Johnny English, that he's not really a very good spy, but he's determined to look like one.
Francesca Perleoni dell'ANSA, e se ce la facciamo un'altra domanda, però dipende dalla velocità di Francesca anche.
Buongiorno, due domande veloci, ci provo. In un momento di crisi generale come questo, per un attore brillante come lei, giudicato uno dei maggiori attori brillanti della sua generazione, è più facile o più difficile far ridere, costruire un film che porti molto pubblico al cinema? E poi...
Aspetta, ti lascio il microfono,
okay.
Facciamo fare...
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see how the release of our movie works, if people come to see it and if they enjoy it or not. I mean, the signs so far have been very good in the few territories in which it has been released. I'm a great believer that that escapist comedy movies, in theory, could be a very pleasing and welcome antidote to the difficulties of everyday life. Traditionally, when people, for example, are trying to cut down on expenditure, frequently the last thing they cut down on is entertainment. That's what, sometimes people's last euro will be spent on a cinema ticket. I mean, maybe that last euro would be spent on a loaf of bread, but maybe their second to last euro may be spent, is surprisingly likely to be spent going to the cinema or buying a DVD or going to a rock concert or something, because in the end, we need entertainment. So I'm certainly not worried about it from a commercial point of view. I certainly haven't set myself a mission to keep people happy in these difficult times. It's just a coincidence that our film is coming out at a difficult time, and if it provides some relief from the difficulties and travails of everyday life, then that's all to the good.
Francesca, seconda domanda.
Siccome lei conosce, credo, un po' anche la realtà italiana, perché è venuto qui spesso in vacanza, c'è qualche aspetto, qualche personaggio, soprattutto ultimamente della realtà italiana, che trova particolarmente comico?
Dear me, I don't really know Italy well enough to pass a comment. I did come here earlier this year. I did the Mia Emilia retrospective from Brescia to Rome and back again, which I enjoyed hugely. And what I do enjoy very much, which is not a particularly comic aspect of you, although it appears comic probably from a British perspective, is the healthy flexibility, I would say, you have towards the nature of driving, how cars should be and how roads should be. I enjoy the fact that you have a very singular attitude, which is, let's say, not German. It's not even French, and it's certainly not British. It's very Italian, and I enjoy your enthusiasm for motor cars, and I enjoy your attitude towards driving and what should be allowed and what should not be allowed. So, which is why, if anyone ever asks me in Britain, is there anywhere in the world where you can drive cars with spirit and vivacity, then I tend to say, well, you could try Italy. It's still a pretty good place to enjoy.
Dopo questa rivelazione da un esperto di auto e da un grandissimo talento, un grande artista, noi ringraziamo il Rowan Atkinson per essere stato con noi, e ricordo Johnny English da Rinascita ci dà